Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a very special Honda CR-V. This is a 2.2 EX manual. It's had just one owner from new, full service history with I think 9 recorded services across its 26,000 miles. That's all this car's done. It is lovely, finished in the urban titanium, which always looks far better in the flesh than it does in the photographs. It's got the lovely light sort of ivory beige interior, which is absolutely gorgeous, and the car works perfectly with this exterior colour. So go around the car for you. Front very clean, lights and lenses are completely clear and intact. Bonnet, can't see a stone chip with any nose on there at all. And down the near side, beautifully smooth in the panel work. Can't see, there's no sort of big indentations that jump out at me. I did see there's one tiny little touch and a couple on the bumper there, but I mean they're tiny. Near side front alloy, very clean indeed. And the panel works absolutely lovely. Side rear alloy, again absolutely fantastic. As you'd expect, such a low mileage, it's got sort of natural lustres of the paintwork. It's literally been washed off, not been polished or anything at all. And the offside of the car, again lovely and smooth in the panels, no indentations there. Offside rear alloy, again absolutely fantastic condition. Ring panels in beautiful condition, and again final alloy very good. Just a only one with the tiniest bit of curbing on it, but it's minuscule for a 10-year-old car. I mean the whole thing, I mean for a 10-year-old car regardless of mileage, is in just beautiful condition. As I said, just the odd sort of tiny little touch in here and there done over the car, but it's just such an original looking car. Going to the back of the car now, cavernous boots, and it looks almost as if in new condition, except it's incredibly clean. Going to the back of the car now, enormous amounts of rear legroom, and this beautiful interior, and leatherwork's been kept absolutely beautifully. Just coming inside now, the front passenger seat, again, just been given hardly any use at all. Finally coming on the driver's side door card, again, lovely and clean, simple footwell areas. Now there is a set mats for this car by the way as well, so which I keep doing it at the moment, forgot to put in the car, but they are lovely. So inside the car now, and I, as always, have the engine running so the dashboard can be seen illuminated, which looks pretty much as new. Sat nav, as you can see, working exactly as it should there. Likewise, rear parking camera, again working exactly as intended. Just so it's been kept absolutely beautifully. Just show you the binnacle and that mileage, 26,676. There are of course no warning lights on the dashboard at all whilst the engine's running. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock wheel note key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and for quite a special car actually. This is a Honda CR-V 2.2 EX diesel. The car is registered MW63TPX, but the mileage is star of the show at just 26,676 recorded. The reason, as I always say in my videos, for these videos, and especially this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone's looking at any of the cars we're advertising on they actually get to see that car in operation. And the reason we feel it's important is because, unfortunately, like lots of people, we've been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs or description, but only to get there, drive it, and find it's got an obvious fault that shows up when you drive the car. So hence that's why we do it. Road test also done on these very quiet country roads in this absolutely beautiful part of Gloucestershire. This actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, and the theory being, hopefully then it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car, obviously mileage, but the fact that it's one owner from new, full history all the way through, serviced each and every year by all accounts, it's going to be good, and it doesn't disappoint in any way. Press a button, engine starts instantly, settles to smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Temperature gauge is running as a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda vehicle, by the way. The engines are brilliant diesels, absolutely brilliant. It is what you'd expect of any Honda. They're tough, they're reliable, they're long-lasting. What's nice as well is they are cam chain driven, so there's no cam belts to worry about on them. But it's more than that, it's just the way it operates. Most diesels in this day and age, especially the small capacity ones, lull you into thinking they're more powerful than they are. They might have headline power, but it's where it's delivered, so they'll give you lots of initial thrust, then they'll die off very quickly, so you get this whoosh of power, and then its capacity makes itself known because it just sort of dies a death. This has got a lovely broad spread of power all the way from just over 1,000 RPM right through to the red line, because it's actually usable, all the revs, but also it doesn't mind revving because it's such a smooth, civilized engine. It really is. I love these engines, always have done. Engine then feeds into the clutch and gearbox. Clutch in the car nice and smooth in operation. Gearbox is one of the best gearboxes you'll use in any car, actually, regardless of the type of car it is. Because unfortunately, some manufacturers still seem to think that because you're driving SUV, you should have kind of almost like a truck-like gearbox to operate. It's the opposite with Honda. They work incredibly hard to make these things, all the major controls, have a lovely, substantial, tactile feel. And the gearbox and steering, and obviously the pedals, are the things you're using most regularly. So that's the thing they put so much effort into. First thing you notice is your hand moves straight to the gear lever, and the actual angle of direction is perfect ergonomically. So you're not sort of reaching, there's no great motions. It's short, it's snappy, it's precise, it's just perfect. It really is. That's better than you find in most manufacturers' sports cars. And it feels absolutely like new to operate, which you naturally expect with such low mileage, but even with 200,000 miles on, they feel like that, in all honesty. Steering on the car, tracks dead straight. There's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit, and it's a really good power steering setup. Honda were way ahead of the game doing these. They're one of the pioneers of SUVs, and the first to make them really car-like. And that's basically the design criteria, is to make the car feel very much like driving an ordinary car, other than the fact that you're elevated with a great driving position. So the steering, it's meaty, it's weighty, it's accurate, it's precise, works perfectly with the chassis. Honda aren't claiming that it's a sports car, nor should it be. So ignore, some of the motor impressed, they're a bit dull to drive, they're a bit this. Well, no, they're not designed to sort of be sliding in four-wheel drifts around corners. It's not that type of car. But what it does in terms of family transport is absolutely fantastic. And its chassis as well, the combination is brilliant, because you've got this, this road surface here is awful. It's like the surface of the moon. No clonks, no rattles. Supple. It absorbs really well. It rides very well indeed. But what it does, moreover, more than that almost, when you go through corners, you don't get lots of body motion, but particularly what I call secondary motions, where you turn lots of softly sprung ones that when you turn in, they kind of go, then sort of lurch again. You don't with this. It's really tightly controlled, and that's particularly important actually for rear seat passengers who might not be concentrating on the road, heading a book or more likely a phone these days. It can be quite nauseating, and my kids suffer terribly with car sickness, and they don't in the CRVs, of which we've owned one after another, almost for that reason actually. But it's very well judged, it really is. It's not surprising, the CRV's been the best-selling SUV in the world for a number of years, so they obviously know their market very well indeed. Ordinarily at this stage I would give the brakes a good old thump. I'm not going to, because we're fitting brand new discs and pads onto the car, onto the front, so we know they're going to be good. Finally, inside the car, what I love, I mean, obviously it's in beautiful condition in here, first and foremost, but I love this lighter interior because it has some massive advantages over the black one, in my opinion, which I still like, by the way. It's not to say I don't like black leather interiors, I do. The problem with them is that, you know, on dull days it can be quite oppressively black. Everything's black inside them, and on sort of dull, dreary days it can be quite a gloomy place to sit. This really does brighten up the interior, but in a very tasteful way. The videos make them look slightly weird, so you kind of ignore it in a way. But the other advantages are, you know, very hot days, like today's quite a warm day. When you get in, you don't get that the heat generated from the seats, which burns the back of your legs if you get in with shorts or a skirt on. And then on those cold days, they're ice cold, and yet it's still sort of relatively, you know, warm feeling by comparison. And if you want to keep them as nice as this chap's kept these, I always say, just remember two things. Make sure you've got some wet wipes and a dry cloth. So if you spill something, just wet wipe it, but then dry it immediately. That's the important bit. And you can keep them in really lovely condition. Dashboard design is, I mean, first of all, sorry, the visibility is brilliant on these cars, by the way. Anyone, when they get into them, they quite often can be thinking, oh, it's a big car, but then 2 minutes of driving, suddenly it's like, you suddenly feel very much in control of it. You've got great visibility front and rear, you've got these massive wing mirrors to help you with lane changes and manoeuvring, you know, relatively low dash line so I can actually see a bonnet, which is a minor miracle in this day and age. And you've got this dashboard which is very highly equipped, but very simple to operate and navigate your way through, unlike some. You know, it's sat-nav, as you can see there, working exactly as it should. Then you've got dual zone climate control systems down here, so you have different temperatures side to side if you so wish. All of the controls as I mentioned before, especially all the switch gear, the buttons, everything pressed has that lovely substantial damped feel that Honda give you. They're brilliant at doing that kind of stuff. Heated seats again working as they should. Dash binnacle in front is just crisp, nicely detailed and laid out. It imparts information perfectly to you, not distracted by it or having to kind of squint to get the information. Then you've got this lovely leather bound steering wheel, which is like the whole of the interior just, you know, shows virtually zero wear. Finally, this is a four-wheel drive version of the CR-V. As I always say, that, you know, there's no buttons to press because it is fully automatic. It does it for you. So basically, because Honda worked out straight away that, you know, most people will be driving as I am today, where you don't need four-wheel drive on. It's pointless. So basically, it runs in front-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, pretty much the whole time. Only if it needs to go into four-wheel drive will it do so. So, for sake of argument, in snowy conditions or ice, you put your foot down, your wheel started to lose grip. Before you can react, because it's done it via the traction control system, it's seamlessly brought in the rear wheels to give you four-wheel drive, and it is brilliant in the way it operates. You know, I've had too many to recount how many CR-Vs we've had, but because we tow a caravan and we need four-wheel drive, and we've never come close to getting stuck with one. The big advantages of the system simply it's the fact that it's not been used that much. So you don't get through your tyres as quickly, you don't use as much fuel, and you don't put as much mechanical stress through the car. We've been selling these for decades, and I can't think of a single one we've put a spanner on in terms of the four-wheel drive systems of the car. So they are incredibly robust. As I mentioned in the video, as I mentioned earlier, the point is to pick up on any issues. There's nothing at all as you'd expect. It drives absolutely beautifully.